G'day, I'm Gavin from Hurley's Fly Fishing. We specialise in guided tours throughout Victoria, but we also take groups to Alaska, Chile, bone fishing Christmas Island, and our most popular one, New Zealand. So if that's where you want to go, come in and see us at our stores in Bentley and Lumsden. Yep. Whoa!
Here comes. Yeah. Oh. Isn't it funny how a day pans out?
G'day, I'm Gavin from Hurley's Fly Fishing and welcome to another episode of On the Fly. Today we're not up in the Goulburn or on the Rubicon or on the Yukonbean. We're over in our mother country, over in England, in a place just out of Winchester, which is pretty famous for, I guess in fly fishing terms, for Isaac Walton, who wrote the book, The Complete Angler. Pretty popular book. I think the next more publicised book is the Bible, so it's certainly up there. It's an interesting fishery here at Avington Lakes. It's an incredible private fishery that you come here, and it's got some amazing crystal clear waters. The Lakes District of England is very well known for its chalk streams, which essentially means there's a lot of spring creeks, which we're used to throughout New Zealand, very clear water, and it flows through like a chalk base. So it's literally filtered water, which is crystal clear and amazing fishing. There's 3 lakes here and they rely on sight fishing, so it's not like your standard put and take fishery where it's perhaps at times dirty water. This is really crystal clear water to pretty well educated fish, you know, so you've got to do a lot of things right. So from a fly fisherman who's done a bit of work, this is really stimulating fishing. So what we'll do in these lakes here, you've got plenty of areas you can walk around spotting your fish and try and get this fly in front of them. We'll try various things from our own terms, like a woolly bugger or a magoo type fly. There will be plenty of damsels and things like that around. We'll certainly cast that in front of them and drift it past. If that doesn't work, we'll probably go into your smaller little nymphs. There's plenty of weed beds with lots of like nymphs and scud through there, so hopefully they'll attack on that. It's a little bit later in the season, so we've probably missed a lot of the dun hatches, so we won't get the big mayflies that you normally will get here, because they get some pretty prolific catches or hatches throughout the season, but we're probably a bit late. So we'll stick to mainly your wet sort of fly, but the sight fishing here is absolutely incredible. Spotted a nice one just in the middle there. Hey, does he come in? No. Don't want to eat that, does it? We're going to need to change, eh? We're all swimming away from it. We've given that woolly bugger type fly quite a few presentations at these fish, and they haven't been interested one bit. And that can happen as the sun gets a bit higher, a little bit later in the day. They get a little bit more choosy in that as well. And sometimes it's best when it is later in the day to go smaller with the fly. So we've put on just a little beadhead, little nymph in a size 16, something that we'd use in, you know, on any of the Australian streams or in New Zealand. And we'll tweak that in front of them, and hopefully that smaller fly can induce a take. Smaller fly, come on mate. Oh. I've got to do, he's got a little beat in there. I can get that in there and let them come over and find it. Like he's around about it now. Oh. Now this is the beauty of coming to a place like this. We've got this magnificent trophy water in front of us here. And just at the back here, I could just see, this is a little tributary of the Inchon River, one of the most famous rivers in the area here around Winchester. And I could just see him here. There's quite a lot of like natural browns and things in there. But I could just see a little rainbow. And I thought I'd just drift down this little nymph underneath the dry, similar to what we'd fish like on the Rubicon, just with a little unweighted nymph, and he came across and took it there. So we needed something to get off a duck, and we've got this one to do it. So it's good. I'll just get him in here and get that net underneath him. Come on, mate. There we go. I'll just quickly get him out. Great little fish. And obviously if you're going to keep him, doesn't really matter, but if we're putting him back, you want to do so pretty quickly. So I'll just whack him straight back in. There you go, but a nice little rainbow. Just get him straight back in there. And good to go. Perfect. Well, that's got us off the mark. It was pretty interesting. We were out here because there was a couple of really nice fish, and I just turned around and just saw this one working there and put that cast out, and he took it, so that was good. Off the mark, pretty important in a cricketing nation like England. We had to go out for a duck over here, so now we've got one. We'll see if we can't get some more out of these fantastic lakes.
Okay, well, we've got a little shop where the anglers come in here first in the morning to buy their ticket, and if they need flyers, we've got a huge selection of flyers and all the things that they're likely to need on a day at Avington. Leader, line, priests, jackets, wetties, umbrellas, boots, the things that they might leave behind, or they might get caught out in bad weather, or they might lose their flyers. We've got most of the stuff here, and we've got a lot of the trophies here that have come out over the years. Some of the big fish from some of the early rainbows and the big browns. This is a cheetah trout. Blue trout, we get the big blueies come in. Fight like hell, the big blueies.
Here he goes. Oh, why not? He's looking. Go to this top one. Oh, there we go. It's a lovely little fish here, and these are wild fish in the little tributary of the Inchon River, which is obviously, I understand, will be quite a famous little river in this area, and it's home to a lot of wild browns. This one's actually a rainbow, so he might have escaped when he's little out through the system and got through there, but nice and aggressive towards flies, and great fun to literally be, you know, a lovely river fishing. So it's not just lakes, you've got this lovely movement, and he was actually rising there, so a great little opportunity to spend time in a river as well as the lake, literally on your doorstep. Just get him down. Here's a little place to net him there. Just get that net. Only a little fish, but they're all terrific. All right, now if we're on the Stevenson, he'd be a ripper, leaving the Rubicon. And on the Inchon, he's still pretty cool too, so we'll just get that, yeah, lovely little fish. We might just throw him back in while he's pretty green. We'll just, he's good to go. He'll get his breath back. Get his breath back here and he'll be good. Here he comes. Oh. There we go. Nice one. Always a rainbow as well. Just great little fish there. You can just very active once they saw something on the surface. I've got like a rubber leg stimulator, which I tend to use very frequently back home on our rivers because it just looks like so many different things, like a big caddis, you know, or it could be a cricket or a grasshopper, and the fish tend to eat it, which is great. And good fun, great fun. I'm just amazed at the water clarity. I mean, you look at this, and these weeds is what you see on every spring creek in New Zealand. It's just incredible. I'll try and get the net under him without going in myself. Oh, nice little fish. That's a rainbow, but any fish on a dry fly is just outstanding. And to get it in an environment like this is just incredible. That's come out straight away. We won't play too much with these. It's all catch and release in the stream. There you go, got a lovely little rainbow from a tributary of the Ichon. Perfect. He's going to get it. Yeah, beautiful. And that was terrific. I could just see him just on that little sandy bank. And he's a brown, so he's a wild, original brown from the area. And that's here I am. I just can't get over this place. I cannot get over it. Just the clarity of that water is just incredible. And, oh, there you go. I had two on there for a second. One's come up and taken Mother Dry. And they're an incredible strain. The browns came from this side of the world, and the rainbows from the American side mainly. And he's a lovely little wild fish. He's a good £1.5, and that's what we'd get on the Rubicon, and terrific. And he had to think about the dry and then just took that nymph. I've got a little, what we call like a great New Zealand rig, or a nymph and dry cocktail, and it gives you two choices to the fish. And he certainly liked that nymph. Be all over soon. It'll make you famous. And that's a brown, so you can instantly see the difference there from the rainbows with that that big red stripe. Whereas, funny enough, he's brown. And where's that fly? It's come out, so we're all good. So we won't muck around with these. They must go back. It's all catch and release on the river there. But a stunning fish, just the same. Stunning fish. Get him back in. Thanks, matey. Perfect. And that's incredible. And we've been walking up here. We've probably got, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 fish out of the river. We've come to fish the lakes. I mean, this is what, like, Avington Lakes is literally world renowned. We get people from all over the world coming to fish this because it is a trophy fishery, and you need a little bit of skill. They can teach you as well. They have like a couple of guides around as well, so they can teach you how to cast, how to, you know, tie flies, and how to present them to the fish. And this is almost sort of like a byproduct, but being a river fisherman myself from back home and in New Zealand, this is just so exciting to walk up a river and see fish and get them to take. It's pretty good, but that's what we're here for, and I need to drag myself back this way. And he's over to it. Oh, and he's back. Oh, and I pulled it out of his mouth. and he's still back. And now got him. Good. Well, that was pretty good. Now we've been, well, the word is challenging fishing for a couple of hours in these magnificent lakes, and I guess it's so stimulating because it is literally so clear, and you can literally see everything unfolding before your eyes. And as an angler, even if you're not catching fish and you can see them, you know you're doing something wrong, or whether it be the fly or whatever. So you don't get in too much of a panic. If you're not seeing fish, you don't know whether they're there. But to actually see them just is so stimulating from a fly fishing point of view, and it's why I certainly do it and why I get so much enjoyment out of it. So what we had to do, we went through a couple of different sizes and fly changes, and really just altered things in different types of nymphs. Wow, and they've got a good bit of go there. We're using about, what's down on that second fly, 6 pound fluorocarbon, because they're reasonably sizable fish, so you need to certainly coax them back your way. They're pretty, it could be just because of the barometric pressure. This about to rain, they're waiting for that to happen. That can certainly slow it up. But I put on a fly with a bit of colour to it so that they'd see it, and it certainly did the trick. And sometimes that's what it is. It's about persistence, but it's also not doing exactly the same thing and expecting things to change. Give them that. Sort of coax him back in now. They're pretty powerful fish because the water's so cool. In the middle of winter, it gets to about 10 degrees, and then in the heat of summer, it's about 15. So in trout terms, that's living on the Gold Coast. Perfect. There you go. That's a good one to finally have one in the net there. Absolute beauty. We'll get him out and give you a look at him. But sizable fish here on the Avington Lakes, and with always, there you go, 4 1/4 pound on the old lie detector. Beautiful. Well, there you go, absolute beauty. Avington Lakes, a female with that more rounded nose there. But we'll get her back in. And it is a catch and take fishery, but as with all our fish, we put them all back. And somebody else can get the same enjoyment out of catching that as what we just did. So these sort of lunches, that's what you normally put on here?
This is dead easy. We can do this, we can do French rolls with cheese and ham and whatever. Dietary requirements, just tell us what you need and we'll lay it on for you.
Yeah, that's why I really notice when you can do like breakfast as well. You know,
If starting off with just bacon rolls, or we can do the full English or whatever you like. Again, tell us what you like and we can lay it on.
Yeah, and the odd beer as well at lunch, that's not too bad.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if you caught a few, you can actually celebrate. And if you haven't caught any, you can still
commiserate.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect.
That looks to be a bigger one. Yeah, that was interesting. Quite a few casts, and as soon as that hit the water, he was onto it, and that's a good, powerful little fish. Yeah, hard to explain fishing sometimes. You have 1,000 casts, and why that fish decided that was the one to eat, I have no idea. Not a big one, but again, they've still got plenty of go in them, just in this cool water, plenty of fight. And mainly in these private fisheries, mainly with rainbows, they have a much faster growth rate, much easier to produce and manage. The browns take a little bit longer. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Good. Nice little fit fish, very plump. We've just changed to a little brown nip, just a little orange bead on it. And I think just so they can see it a little bit easier. Certainly worked a treat there. Incredible growth rates, look at it. In fish terms, that's actually pretty for a female to have that much weight on it there. We'll just slide her back in. She's good to go. Just wonders what happened. That's him.
Oh, got it. You got it.
Yeah. Ooh. No, that's nice. Now there you go. No, that's a good one. It was George, the super guy's just coming over, and I said, I really need to catch a big fish. Oh, well, not really need to. Like, I'm pretty good. I could go home an hour ago. It was just fantastic here. But we'd casted this one a couple of times. He said, well, you just got to change flies. He said, that's what all the boys that catch a lot of the bigger fish will do. They will change flies. And we'd cast him a few times, one with a little orange bead, and he'd come over and look at it and turn away. There you go. Nearly ripped the rod out of my hands. Oh, and it's come off. But, you know, you go, well, that doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not life-threatening, is it? But that fish, Georgia said it, that's over 10, 11 pounds, you know, so that's a really sizable fish to get in water like this. So, yeah, that would have been good, but, you know, sometimes it comes out, so there's not much you can do. You can throw your rod, but I'd have to go in and get it. So, just wind it in and find another one. All right. I've got to get it right in his vision. Yeah, there we go. That was good. So he was happily feeding there, and I could see his mouth like open and close. You see that little, what they call a wink, and that's the white of his mouth going like that. And that's when you know, when they still do that, you know they're not worried about you. You haven't spooked them, and you can still persist. And it's just a matter of getting that little nymph in front of him, and he was going to take it. And a nice little eddy in here that we can get him into without getting our feet wet. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, there we go. That's nice to get that one in the net. But I would have liked his big brother from a couple of casts ago. And no point crying over spilt milk. Let's quickly get him back in. Oh, he's a sizable one too, probably 6 or 7. Oh, a bit over. Oh, just on 7, so not a bad fish. Well, he didn't want to. Yep, perfect. Well, Avington Lakes is one of the best trout fisheries, I think, in the whole of the UK. It's amazing sight fishing with 3 different lakes, and they're all virtually slightly different depths and things like that. And there's a mixture of browns and rainbows in really great sizes. They're not always easy. You've really got to put a fair bit of time into your fly selection, your presentation, and when you get them, they've got plenty of go in them too, which, you know, they're into your backing in no time. So it's a great fishery that you're really going to enjoy, and it's going to stimulate you as a fly fisherman and help you improve as well. So we also do trips here, so if it's a place that you want to come to, we do trips throughout the area as well. So we'd bring you to Avington Lakes. It's one of the best fly fishing destinations in the UK. Anyway, that's all I've got time for, and I look to catching you on the fly. That was perfect. I'm not blaming myself for anything with that one. That was just, no, it was only about 15 pounds, hardly worth the trouble.